This is another channeling session. I've had a lot of whale synchronicities showing up today, as I've been making a lot of changes in my own personal life and process. So I feel the whale beings have been contacting me, and it's been really nice. So I've gotten some good realizations in my own journey. But now I'm going to allow for them to utilize my voice in this channeling session. So I hope that you also find their messages for yourself to be useful and fun as well. This is 11:47 p.m. on October 6th. We are so ecstatic and happy. It is a joy to be able to communicate with your kind. It is something that we do all the time. Many of you feel that we are rather obscured from your vision and your perception, but remember that's only because we exist in another reality that is aquatic in its nature. Therefore, you could say we are alien in almost that way, where it seems as if we are occupying a whole nother world altogether. But it's because of this aquatic environment that we live in that we appear to be distant from your direct waking state. But remember, we are helping your entire planet to function in a very powerful homeostatic way. Our sonar, you could say, our songs, and our messages are multidimensional. They are programming the ocean. Many of you do not realize this, but water is like a computer that can be programmed to perform specific functions and tasks. We are the programmers of the oceans. We are the programmers of the water. And as this water evaporates and makes its way into the atmosphere, it is then redistributed throughout the planet. And we share ancient aquatic programs that are not native to your Earth, but are native to our home dimension with your Earth. We are not the only programmers of the water, but we are some of the loudest ones. You are familiar with the Sirius Alliance, Sirius A and Sirius B, as well as the other beings involved in this alliance that are helping to raise the vibration, raise the consciousness of this planet. We are acting on behalf of that alliance, programming in the Sirius energies into the oceans that then have major impacts for the rest of the life of this planet. One of the major messages that we have for you at this time is to remember the idea that is, you are what you eat. This is something that many people on your planet are not very aware of. Many of you are disconnected from the relationship that your body has with the diet, with the food. Many of you forget that the food that you consume literally becomes your body. That is how you build yourself. Many of you say, I wish I could change. I am so stuck and I don't know what to do. Well, first and foremost, if you change what you are eating, you will change the very body you possess in a way that is very powerful and it will be reflective on the type of dietary change that you make. In general, we are massive creatures, we are strong creatures, and we survive in that way off of phytoplankton, very tiny organisms that are in many ways rich in proteins, amino acids, minerals. We are able to go long periods of time without food, but it is a matter of consuming foods that are rich in vital nutrients that allow for our bodies to remain strong and healthy. And that, in many ways, provides a base level for health for us. The rest of our nourishment comes then from community. It comes from love, because love in and of itself is a force that will strengthen the body. When your body is nourished in a very basic way, nothing elaborate, but just in a way where your nutritional requirements are met and you have adequate amounts of carbohydrates, fats, proteins, and amino acids and micronutrients, once that is there, all that then remains is spiritual nourishment, which you get from being who you are, who you were created to be. By being in a community of love, by being a brother and sister to all whom you encounter, that in and of itself will tune you into a level of nourishment that is sustainable. It's similar to your concept of free energy, because you just make it by being yourself and by interfacing in your society in a way that's heart based. And this is a way you can maximize your energy levels, and it will allow for you to begin to function in a very healthy way. Because when you are existing in a vibration of love, the food you then consume will be assimilated harmoniously. Because if you are stressed and you are unhappy and you are not being yourself, which is a side effect again of not being the self, the truest self, then what ends up happening is you have malabsorption, improper absorption of the nutrition. So the diet then begins to fail. So you could have the most elaborate health based diet that you could imagine, but if you are not operating on a spiritual level of unconditional love, that healthy diet may not be assimilated properly, and it may actually begin to damage the tissue, and it may begin to cause other disturbances in the system. So it is the heart based vibrations that not only allow for the more physical aspects of nourishment to take place harmoniously in terms of their absorption, but it will also allow for your spiritual energy centers to be filled with a non physical type of fuel. This is one message that we have for you, because remember, we can get by on next to nothing. We get by on the tiniest of particulate, you could say, of nutritional components, and it is enough for our bodies. We love it, and you can be very similar to us in that way if you wish, by remembering that your body has very basic requirements for health and nutrition, nothing fancy. Remembering that in relationship to this, we are suspended in water. Water, again, is life, as you say on your surface. When you are supplying your body with adequate amounts of purified water, it allows for you to not only detoxify your system of metals and other compounds that are inflammatory, but it also tunes you into our collective vibration. The more water based you are, the more your aura becomes in resonance with our reality. So you begin to perceive our dimension and you can perceive our messages. When you are in a state of dehydration, that disconnect we've mentioned in terms of perception that you have of our reality becomes greater, and it becomes more and more challenging for your kind to then pick up on these subtle messages that we are always emanating to your surface. So if you wish to connect with us and you also wish to simultaneously improve your health, adequate water intake that is purified in nature is a must. This will allow for you to saturate yourselves with our consciousness and with our messages. We are also going to now talk about some of the roles that we play. In addition to programming the water, we also detoxify the oceans in and of itself. Our whale songs have regenerative effects that actually can reverse pollution. It can teleport the ocean in that way. It can teleport the ocean to a new version of reality where the ocean is not polluted. So we are actually shifting reality in an aquatic way that migrates, you could say, the earth pattern of experiential reality away from a polluted version of itself. So we help the Earth's collective consciousness to shift to a parallel reality where it has not been polluted in the first place. And this is a side effect of our whale songs. So our music, in many ways, cleans the oceans. It also allows for certain portals to be opened in the oceans that allow for extra dimensional energies and beings to be able to permeate the reality matrix that is your physical reality. And it allows for multiple beings and entire civilizations to be able to project themselves into the oceans. When enough of us get together and we create songs, bigger doors can be opened, and we are able in many ways to open these doors above and below water. And it will allow for different societies that are extra dimensional to be able to teleport very easily into the reality. It allows for them to bypass the idea of human collective consciousness altogether, and it allows for them to interface with us as well as other beings that are native to your oceans that you're not aware of that wish to interact with these extra dimensionals that are, shall we say, not of the planet, not of the earth. These are a few of the things that we enjoy doing and that we commonly do. There are also ways that you can implement our whale songs in your life, remembering that our music that we make organically is detoxifying. If you wish to detoxify your body in a very powerful way, and you also wish to connect with us psychically, you can take a bath, and in this bath, play our music, play our songs. Close your eyes and imagine we are swimming around you. And this will allow for our energies to be able to then permeate your bubble of reality so you can become aware of the messages that we are beaming to the surface at all times. And this will allow for you to access us as your spirit guides, your animal spirit guides. You all have access to our consciousness because we are big enough to support all of this. We are massive in our size. We are massive in our numbers. There are more than enough of us to be able to assist all of you. You could say in many ways that you all have a whale guide. Some of you have the same whale guide, but because of the role we play of an infrastructural nature for the entire planet, we are a part of you, whether you know it or not. So if you begin to tune into us, it will allow for you to access us as a spirit animal guide, and we will be able to dream with you. And you may find that if you think of us whilst you are drifting off into sleep, it will allow for you to have dreaming experiences with us where you will astral project into dimensions that are overlaid over the physical reality matrix of the oceans, where we can have adventures together and you can understand very deeply many of our skills, many of our abilities, and you can actually begin to train with us so you can learn the human equivalent of these skills and then bring them back into your waking state so you can make them a part of your life. We thank you for your openness to our messages. We are so delighted to be able to speak freely in this way. Be like water and flow ever free. And join us in the infinite sea. Thank you.